As we mark the inaugural Nigeria Reputation Day, we gather not just to reflect, but to act. Our nation's reputation is more than a global perception. It is a mirror of our collective values, choices, and integrity. The Nigerian Reputation Management Group reminds us that beyond economic and political strength, it is our character as a people that determines how far we go and how we are remembered. In a world where narratives shape destinies, we ask ourselves, what is Nigeria's story today? More importantly, who are its storytellers? The program sets the stage for a candid, courageous, and creative conversation about how we, through daily actions and shared values, can build a Nigeria that commands respect, inspires trust, and radiates excellence. Let's now reflect, renew, and rise together. This is Nigeria Today, and I am Ikaria Clinton. Welcome. With me in the studio for this conversation is a known face in the NTA. When you talk health, you must have her in it. Today we have Muji Makunjuola. He's a member, Nigeria Reputation Management Board. He's also a fellow of the NIPR. It's a pleasure to have you in Nigeria today.
Thank you so much, Ikaria. Thank you for having us.
And joining us via Zoom is Yomi Badejo Okunsoya. He's a fellow NIPR. He's also chairman, Nigeria Reputation Management Board. It's a pleasure to have you on Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Ikaria, for having us. I'm very glad that we've taken Auntie Moji away from you. She's no longer at TV. She belongs to us now.
So, will you be comfortable if I call you YBO?
Please, everybody does call me YBO. Everybody does.
Okay. So, YBO, tell us, why is it important to have, a National Reputation Day?
Okay. Thank you very much, Ikaria. We have a quote which is one of the things that preceded the message of our message to the nation at this our inaugural Nigeria Reputation Day. It says, a people's greatness is not measured by wealth, but by the values they uphold. And that was by the renowned author Chinua Achebe. The reputation gates of Nigeria have been left unmanned for a pretty long time. So, and where nature itself abhors a vacuum. So the story of Nigeria told, we have not harnessed or leveraged on the good things that we can use to drive the narrative and the story of Nigeria. So we've left our to tell. And the danger in that is that when others tell your story, they definitely would not tell it you want it or how you want it told. So you find out that more or less in terms of reputation for us as a nation, we haven't done very well. Wherever you go, there's a lot of exaggeration. Now, that doesn't mean that there are no issues or there are no challenges. There are challenges, but these challenges, in my opinion, or in the opinion of the board of the Nigerian Reputation Management Group, have been exaggerated. It's like giving a dog a bad name so that you can hang it. So, because based on that, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations set up a private sector-driven organization known as the Nigerian Reputation Management Group. You can call it the equivalent of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. So while they are discussing economy, we're discussing reputation. And we believe that those are tangibles that must be leveraged on. And therefore, in order to bring to the consciousness of Nigerians the importance.
It appears we've lost him there because of network issue there. So we'll come back to you, YBO, so there are some important or pertinent issues you've raised there that are germane to this conversation. Now, he talked about storytelling. Let's start from there now. as much as we wouldn't want other people to tell our stories, we also tell stories ourselves. Are we telling it good enough to reflect who we are?
Not exactly. And that's why it's it has become an imperative for us on the Nigerian Reputation Management Group to give a louder voice to the potentialities, to the positivity that we as a people really, a lot of times the good stories don't go around, the bad stories, and nobody would blow your horn until you blow it yourself. And I think the world, in terms of communication and wanting people to see what you do, the story you tell comes from your heart. This is who we are. Not the perception that some people have, but that's where reputation comes in. Because perception about who you are, as seen in the face of any other person, would tell the story the way he or she says it. But let's tell our own stories. Oftentimes, let's use the media, for example, where we are. The stories that will hit the headline, for example, are the poverty of this world, the very horrible indices, the wars, the insurgencies, and all that. But the growth and development of who we are, the resilience, the innovation, what our men and women all over the world are doing. Like you were introducing me and you were talking about health. Yes, I will always go back to it because it's a passion. There's nowhere in the world where there are experts in any field of medicine that you don't find Nigerians. But we don't tell such stories. Such feat that our experts have been able to feed the world with positively. We don't speak to it. So we must change that narrative. We must come back to tell our own story. We can't be Big Brother of Africa and be quiet about the things that we do. We must be able to shout it to the rooftop. Let the world know this is who we are. This is the strength in being a Nigerian. This is the goodness in being a Nigerian. This is the speciality of being a Nigerian. It goes, I could go on and on and on and on and on. And just before, I'd like to just say here that, around the world, I'll quote from our, the statement from the Nigerian Reputation Management Group to commemorate the inaugural edition of the Nigerian Reputation Day. And it says that, yes, our challenges are real, but they're not insurmountable. That is, of course, when you have the good, you'll have the ugly. Yeah, you have the bad.
About the ugly,
yes. So around the world and within our borders, we have seen communities revived and nations renewed when people choose to act differently, persistently, and together.
Okay, thank you very much, Buji. Now, let's go back to you, YBO. There's something, you raised a very important, topic there, or will I say there's an issue you talked about. You're talking about telling stories, of course, and we want to tell the positives. But then again, we seem to believe more people telling our stories. Like when the foreign media tell us what is happening in Nigeria, you see a Nigerian tell you, oh, that's the truth. But when a Nigerian reports what really happened, they say, no, they are not saying the truth. Why is this so?
Trust.
And how can we change the narrative? YBO, please.
Okay, that has to do with trust. So, like we say, trust is the currency by which every organization or individual trades. Without trust, you cannot operate. It is the license to operate, let me put it like that. So the reason why you have us on your show is because you trust us that we'll be able to contribute to the show. And the reason why we ourselves trust you to air our own views is because we know that you do it right and professionally. So when that trust is lost, you realize that there's very little left. Every organization, every individual, every business, every government needs trust to operate. And there's something that one of our the networks in public relations does every year, the Elderman Trust Barometer. And luckily, for the last 5, 6 years, Nigeria has been has been surveyed, and it talks about the trust level across board, whether it's media, whether it's government, whether it's corporate, whether it's like the police, and so on and so forth. So the biggest challenge we have is trust. And where does trust deficit come in? It's like a simple thing when you tell your child who is 3 through 4 years old, I'll buy you a bicycle tomorrow. And then you come back tomorrow and you don't deliver the bicycle, I beg your pardon. That trust deficient, there's a trust deficiency that has started, and it begins to widen over time. And one of the reasons why we have this reputation day, because reputation is not just about making us look good. It is about understanding the values and the character. So let me put it like this: what your values build your character, and your character is what ends up as your reputation. So this is not just about glossary words. It's not about putting adverts in the newspapers or radio, TV. It is about bringing a change in the mindset that Nigerians will be conscious of the importance of putting reputation first, which is the motto of the Nigerian Reputation Management Group. So whenever you want to do something, you ask yourself, this thing that I'm about to do, will it add or detract from the reputation of Nigeria? Let me end this all by saying, all of us were in the habit of blaming government, but we don't realize that the reputation challenge we have also starts with us. When you drive on the wrong side of the street, it starts with you. When you throw stuff out of the car, it starts with you. When you get to an airport and you don't follow the queue, it starts with you. So the reputation of Nigeria, rather than me pointing fingers at someone else, actually begins with me. And that's the consciousness we want the Nigeria Reputation Day to bring up.
Okay, now, what you haven't heard YBO there, of course, it spoke extensively about, when we talk reputation, it's not just about, it goes beyond adverts on the television, But then again, as much as people will say, oh, Nigeria, we have one, some will say, okay, our reputation is not so good, outside there. But there are people who are making us proud outside the country. People still believe in Nigeria when it comes to music and all of that. So how can we, leverage on some of these good deeds of some Nigerians, to make our reputation better than it is?
We must anchor on accountability, on transparency, on a whole gamut of living, governance, individuality, which YBO made assertions to. Like you said, it's not about government. It starts from you. Reputation should start from you. And I always like to quote, a writer, Cyrus is the great Roman writer, exclaimed over 2,000 years ago, and I quote, "A good reputation is more valuable than money." End of quote. But how seriously have we taken that? YBO spoke to trust deficit. Trust deficit comes from, the perception of reputation. Oh, Eukarya. Oh, she's good. That's the reputation. That's what I'm sure that's what you want people to know. Wonderful interviewer. Right. But over the years, we have jettisoned reputation. In the climes where I come from, they would say to you that your reputation matters more than your wealth. But in the reversal of which things are happening now, people don't really care so much about reputation. And that's what we are all about, the Nigerian Reputation Management Group. That we must, let's bring back what made us. That distinction that, makes you an individual, that you become a mentor, you become a leader, that people can believe in, it's all about reputation. If your reputation is horrible, nobody wants, a place less clear from him. But if you have such sound reputation, naturally people would want to be associated with you. A lot of good things would love to be associated with you. But we cannot say everybody has the consciousness of wanting to, to remember or to know, or each time to say, what does reputation grows economy. Reputation grows, everything, social values. Reputation, even for us, let me use the gender lens, for example. Generally, an ill-behaved child is assumed to be the mother's child. It's not true, really. But I'm taking it right from the foundation, the family. Oh, that's YBO. Oh, I know his father. He comes from a very, very good background. So you wouldn't dare to do some things. The era where the teacher is involved, everybody, they would say, it's the pregnancy that is yours. But the child becomes that of the community. People are aware. But over the years, we've had challenges in living through reputation that that has endangered even the reputation of us as Nigerians and as the nation. So what we are saying is that, yes, there are challenges, but there are good social values that speaks to reputation. And going forward, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations with the Nigerian Reputation Management Group are ready to reverse who we are. Reverse the trend of where people don't give a damn about reputation. I have a show on NTA, and for the 65th anniversary, we were looking at, somebody coined something, I said the anyhowness of Nigeria. And I'm like, okay, anyhowness. And YBO has alluded to some. You see people deliberately breaking the rule, especially traffic rules. You see Nigerians generally.
Even well-placed Nigerians.
Even well-placed Nigerians.
You'll be surprised.
Yes.
You'll be shocked.
Yes. Driving at the opposite direction and at such speed that shouldn't happen. People deliberately disobeying things that should happen. This has to do with reputation. And so the first person and first impressions matters. You're coming into Nigeria, you're there when you are queuing up to, to come aboard and flying into the country. You fly into any of our airports and you're like, what happened to the people who were on queue, to the people who took their seats when they should? Suddenly, a chaotic scene from nowhere comes on. And Nigerians are not thinking about this. So reputation matters a lot.
Okay, thank you, Oji. We're going to take a short break now. This conversation will continue shortly. Don't go away.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow under digital economy for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different? We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that our questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Glad to know you're still there. This is still Nigeria Today. We're looking at the National Reputation Day. And of course, I have a lady here in the studio. And via Zoom, we have a gentleman. Now, YBO, let's talk about the Nigerian Reputation Management Group. We're talking about, changing the narrative. So what do you intend to do differently, to give us the reputation that we deserve?
Okay, let's talk about change management. Change management is not a cosmetic thing. It starts from the heart. And with due apologies to what has been done before, we've had what the street lingo is what you call rebranding of Nigeria. Rebranding doesn't start, like I say, with the commercials on television or the lovely ads on radio or in the newspapers. It starts from the heart, that there's a consciousness, an awareness of what you represent and what you stand for. So let me give you an example. Immediately after the apartheid was dismantled and the government of Nelson Mandela came up in South Africa, you know that the slogan that they had is that it's possible, because being a rainbow of nation, a rainbow nation, they thought that they couldn't all come together, and therefore they say everybody thought it was impossible, and then they say it's possible. And then I remember at breakfast in Johannesburg, somebody did ask and said, please ask the waiter. He said, is it possible for me to have some sugar? And the waiter answered and said, in South Africa, everything is possible. So there had been that strong indoctrination that even at that level, he was able to communicate it. So let me also give you another example. So the first time I visited Rwanda, and I went to the Genocide Museum, and I saw all what had happened and so on and so forth. I came back to my hotel, and I was having a drink. And, I told the waiter in the hotel at the bar and said, look, I've just come from Genocide Museum. And we had a discussion about it. Then I asked him, I said, are you a Tutsi or a Hutu? I think that's the other, I can't remember very well. And he replied me, he said, I am a Rwandan. And I said, yes, I know you're a Rwandan. But before you became a Rwandan, were you Tutsi or Hutu? And he insisted. And you and I agree. We know that the level of genocide that was perpetrated in Rwanda is unparalleled in Africa, and it will probably rank very high in the world, maybe outdone by what happened in the Second World War. But guess what? The change came from the heart. So for us at the Nigerian Reputation Management Group, the first thing we want to do is that building Nigeria's reputation is bottom up. It's going to be organically grown. And as such, we are starting from persuasion with the heart, so that people recognize and understand. Like I said, first thing you do is take ownership of the fact that you are the one that is your responsibility.
I'll have to stop you here so that Moji will just give us even just 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Just give us your closing thought on this.
Our closing thought, I'm going to actually read out from our statement of today. And it says, on this first Nigeria Reputation Day, we call on every Nigerian at home and abroad to take up better reputation, better Nigeria challenge. Commit to an act of integrity, live it daily, inspire others to do the same, and carry Nigeria's name with honor.
Thank you very much, Moji Makunjola. He's a fellow NIPR member, Nigeria Reputation Management Board. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Eukaria. Thank you. And the reputation starts with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
And we had about Zoom Yomi Badejo Kunsoya is a fellow NIPR and chairman, Nigeria Reputation Management Board. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being part of the program. I'm Eukaria Clinton.